Hi, today I want to talk to you about the Oklahoma Proven Selections for 2012. Now, the Oklahoma Proven program is a plant selection program designed to help homeowners choose good plants for their landscape. And each year we choose a tree, a shrub, and an annual and a perennial to promote to the public. Now, I'm going to start with the shrub selections. And actually this year we chose a collection of junipers to highlight this year. And the first one is actually the Taylor juniper. And this is actually one of the eastern red cedar types, Juniperus virginiana Taylor. And it was discovered actually back in the 1970s in Taylor, Nebraska. And you can imagine then how tough this plant really is growing up in the middle of Nebraska. But the neat thing about this one is it only gets about 3 feet wide and it can grow about 25 feet tall. So it's a very narrow columnar form of the eastern red cedar. And again, as all junipers are, it's a very tough plant. So because of its narrow growth habit though, it makes it great for urban environments, for tight spaces. You can use it to create a natural wall or division between areas within your landscape. Now, the others that we chose to highlight this year were one of the Juniperus chinensis types, the spreading types of junipers, Saybrook Gold. Now, the Saybrook Gold grows about 30 inches tall, but it will grow about 6 to 8 feet wide, developing somewhat of a bird's nest depression in the center of it. But the nice thing about this one is it has golden foliage to it. And this golden foliage is supposed to be one of the better forms of a golden type of juniper. It's supposed to hold its color year-round, and again, it's a good hardy shrub. And then the last one is one of the carpet types, Juniperus horizontalis. This particular one, the cultivar is Monbur, and the trade name is Icy Blue. And it has a beautiful silvery blue foliage color, and it's a low creeping carpet type that just hugs the ground. Great for rock gardens, maybe along a retaining wall where it can spill over and cover the edges of your walls. Now, once in a while we'll throw in another category called the collector's choice. And the collector's choice is a plant that might need some special attention or special care or even particular attention to the location of the plant. And this year we chose the laceleaf sumacs, and there's two of them actually. There's the laciniata, which is a laceleaf form of the staghorn sumac, and then we have this one, which is called tiger eyes. And this is actually a mutation of the laciniata, or the laceleaf form, that they found growing in Bailey Nursery in Minnesota. And it has a beautiful color to it. You can see it's a chartreuse, almost yellow foliage color, and it will hold this color all summer long. And you'll see that it even has a little bit of a reddish pinkish color too on some of the newer growth. And that really contrasts nicely with the reddish pinkish stems of the leaf. And actually this is a whole leaf right here. This is a bipinnately compound leaf. So this is all one leaf, and these are all little leaflets. And again, it's called a laceleaf sumac because they're deeply divided, giving it a nice feathery appearance. Now, this particular one here will grow about 6 feet tall. Laciniata has just green leaves, and it will grow actually more like 12 to 15 feet tall. Both of them can have a whitish, yellowish green flower in the spring, and then later on in the fall they will produce a cluster of reddish, really fuzzy or hairy clusters of berries that are actually eaten by the wildlife. So, and it can also have a nice ornamental characteristic. Now, this is a native species. All of the staghorn sumacs are native, but they are aggressive. So they can spread, and that's why we're kind of tagging it as our collector's choice, because of the ability for it to sucker and form colonies. So you want to be aware of that. That can be a good thing though if you're trying to establish kind of a natural area, or if you are trying to control erosion on a hillside, the sumacs work great in that aspect. Now, our annual this year is called the Perennial Magilla, and this is a wonderful little annual. And these are new plants, and they're really starting to just take off now, and they'll develop more color. But the striking thing about this plant is that the hot pink center that it has, that it develops as the leaf develops, with the maroon and then the green colors as well. Now, if you look at it closely, it looks a lot like a coleus, and that's because it is actually closely related to the coleus, but it is a species called Perilla. Now, the species itself, Perilla frutescens, is actually a weedy plant. It will spread by seed, and we often get samples in each year into the extension office saying, what in the world is this thing? It's taking over my garden. But this one is a sterile form of the species, and so it will not spread. The perennial this year is Amsonia hubrichtii. I love this perennial. This is so cool. It's actually native to eastern Oklahoma and western Arkansas and in that area. And there are actually several species of Amsonia that grow throughout the U.S. This particular one has a very fine, narrow needle-like leaf. It's a beautiful plant, though. It has great characteristics from spring all the way till fall. In the springtime, when the plant's about 2 feet tall, there'll be clusters of star-shaped sky blue flowers at the tips of each of the branches. And then it's just this beautiful, nice, wispy green shrub the rest of the summer. And then in the fall, when the temperatures start cooling off, overnight it just turns a brilliant golden yellow, and you can see it from a mile away. This is a really great perennial. It's deciduous, so it dies back in the winter, comes back from the plant. It also will reseed itself. It was discovered by Leslie Hubricht, who back in the mid-30s actually went to work for the botanist at the Missouri Botanic Garden. And when he was out on an excursion in Arkansas, that's when he discovered this plant, took it back to the botanist. They keyed it out and realized it hadn't been named before, or named yet, and so they named it after Leslie. He was actually a self-taught scientist, botanist. It was actually well known as a land snail expert, but he had several plants that he discovered as well and had them named after him. This year's tree is the chinkapin oak, Quercus muhlenbergii. This is actually another native oak species that we have growing throughout the state. And actually it grows throughout most of the state, except for maybe the far western quarter and the panhandle, and then goes eastward. It has a really nice dark yellow-green foliage color during the summer, nice medium texture, and then in the fall it can vary in color from yellow to an orangish brown to brown. And if you kind of notice too that the branching structure is not really full, so when the leaves fall, it has a very coarse and open texture to the tree, which I think makes it kind of a nice energy conservation tree, so that you can plant it next to your home, and during the summer it provides nice shade, helps keep the house cool, but in the winter when the leaves have fallen, then it's very open and coarse, so the low angled winter sun can come through and keep your house a little bit warmer. This tree is quite adapted to a wide variety of soils. It actually tolerates alkaline soils, tolerates wind-swept areas. So overall, it's a great tree for Oklahoma. For more information about these plants and other Oklahoma Proven selections, visit your local garden centers and nurseries or visit us at our Oklahoma Proven website.